Well, I think it's over for the Lakers. I know that recently there's been a lot of hopefuls which have hoped that, LeBron is going to, do some miraculous stuff, but I don't think he's that player anymore, and I don't think he's going to. You know, the Lakers lost again, and really what I realized and what I think everyone knows now is that the Nuggets are just a better team. Like, it's the same thing that happened last year with Boston and Brooklyn, where, yes, even though Brooklyn was very good, it was just obvious that last year, from coaching, right, because Ime Udoka is a phenomenal coach, even though he got in the scandal, from players and chemistry, right, because the Brooklyn Nets had lost so many players and they had to rebuild their team in a weird way, to everything that happened during that year with Kyrie missing games and everything, and Boston just having had a whole team which turned their season around. It was just obvious that Boston was just far and away the better team. They were more clutch, they knew what plays to use, and that they knew how to stop their stars or at least limit them as much as possible. That is, in my opinion, the same thing that is happening with the Nuggets and the Lakers this year, right? Like, the Nuggets are just far and away a better team. They are more clutch than the Lakers, and yes, I know a lot of people don't like to hear that because it's LeBron, but they are more clutch. They know how to seal games better. They do not need their stars to be as effective as they do for them to win and at least have effective offense, and they are more efficient by a mile, right? Let's take this game for example, right? If we look at the stats, no one really just performed to the highest degree except Jamal Murray, right? And Anthony Davis, right? Like, those two guys were great. But if you look at the rest of the game for both teams, then there was just a bunch of like good performances which just happened, right? Or bad performances. But especially for the Nuggets, they didn't have anything going for them, right? Like, they ran a 7 man, right? Not an 8 man, but Christian Braun played 3 minutes. So, yeah. But if you really see and break down their scoring, it was like pretty bad for their standards. Like, Aaron Gordon wasn't really shooting, and his field goal percentage was below 50%, right? Michael Porter Jr. shot, even though he shot 40% from three, he shot under 50% from the field. And Jokic even shot under 50% from the field and under 40% from three, which are normally, I think that's been his averages for the playoffs. Then Jamal Murray obviously had that hyper efficient game, and had especially that first half in which he went absolutely insane, and it looked like he was getting absolutely everything that he wanted. But if we really break down this team as a whole, in the end they finished shooting, the Nuggets, 50% from the field, 40% from three, and 74% from the free throw line, with 5 turnovers and 30 assists. The Lakers, on the other hand, shot 40%, 45% from the field, so 5% less than the Nuggets, 31% from three, so literally 10% less than the Nuggets, 76% from the field, so 2% better than the Nuggets, with 12 turnovers and 27 assists. There is nothing here that just tells me that the Lakers are a bad team. They had a lot of assists and they had a good amount of turnovers, because let's face it, not that many people have that assist to turnover ratio being that good. And they had shot pretty well considering that they run like a lot of players, right? Like substantial minutes. They have 8 guys who actually play all more than like 10 minutes a game. So it's not like they're completely abusing all of their positions, right? So, in my opinion, this just leads us with one conclusion. It's that they're better. Just the Nuggets are better than the Lakers. There's no question to it. And they might be the best team in the league by far. In terms of offense, right? They had 5 turnovers. They were really efficient, and then they had 30 assists, right? In terms of defense, they actually can play defense, right? As Anthony Davis in game one dropped 40 hyper efficiently, but today he calmed down and dropped 28, right? So they at least know how to make people, be calmer, right, and tamer, except Austin Reeves, which has been phenomenal all series long. And LeBron only scored 23 points, and he did it on bad efficiency from the field and from three. But in my opinion, also Rui Hachimura had a bad game after going crazy for those first two games. So in my opinion, when you sum it all up and you look at it as a whole, they are just a better team. They have their prime star, right, which is LeBron. No, their prime stars, or at least their superstar of the team, which are Jokic and AD. Because let's face it, AD is the superstar, and LeBron is the not the co-star, but they're a 1-2 punch. They're not, right. So Denver's 1-2 punch compared to the Lakers. Yeah, the Lakers might be more complete, but Denver's is just more clutch. They have more legs. They can play more minutes. They know how to run plays with each other, and they're more complete basketball players because even though LeBron's a playmaker, Jokic and Murray both are playmakers too, right? In terms of defense, right? Like, yes, AD might be the best defender in the league, but it's very hard just getting through Jokic. Like, if Jokic is actually trying on defense, and that's something that we've seen this postseason, then it's very hard to get through him because of his pure mass, timing, and strength that he has. Jamal Murray can play defense if he wants to, right? But let's face it, LeBron and AD are better on defense. And the rest of the teams, it's just like, it's hard to, just captivate in words how much better the Nuggets are than the Lakers, just on face value, because it's in everything. Their offense is smoother, their defense is effective, but they're not trying to lock up the two primary stars, which is something I find very smart. They're trying to lock up the role players, right? Like D'Angelo Russell's been terrible, Rui Hachimura was bad last game, and the rest of the role players are not doing anything. So they're basically the Nuggets' plan has been like, can LeBron and AD win you a game? Can those two guys together combined win you a game? Because if they can, then so be it. But if we're shutting down every other role player with KCP, Bruce Brown, putting Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon, and let's see what works out. They've been playing really good offense, and that two-man game by Murray and Jokic was insane. And it's just looked like Denver knows what to do. In the first quarter, they always come out strong, right? They always score the first two quarters, and then when the game slows down, right, and they, in the third quarter, they'll normally be tamer, and then they'll explode in the fourth again, right? Like, we've seen that a lot, where they'll just, they'll calm, they'll chill, they'll bring the game down to a good pace, and then they'll just attack them, hammer them in that last quarter. And that's what they do. It's just like the Warriors have their signature third quarters. The Nuggets have that signature fourth quarter where they just pound you, right? And we could see this in all the games except maybe game one, where even though they didn't have that fourth quarter, they had those first two quarters where they go really hard, right? They had those two to rely on. So in my opinion, it's just the Nuggets have been playing better basketball. They are a better team. They are better coached. They are younger. They have better defense. They have better shooting. They have more consistent role players because, yes, the Lakers are good, but they're not as consistent as the Nuggets. And they just look like they figured it out. They look like the 2001 Lakers. They look like the Spurs in 2003 and 7, right? They look like the Jordan's Bulls in 92, right? And they look like these all-time great teams, which it got to a point where after they did it, they figured it out. But since they haven't done it yet, they will probably do it this year. Now, with that being said, if Jokic wins a ring, I think he's up there. I don't think he's better than Giannis all time, but I think he definitely is top 30 immediately. I don't know. He doesn't have that many longevity awards, but in my opinion, let me not get too ahead of myself. Right? I do not think the Lakers are winning. I think it's already said that the Nuggets are winning. And let's see what happens with this series. And can LeBron steal a game before he gets cooked?